probability statement again. I've gone ahead and drawn another normal curve, and I filled out the bottom part of it with my mean and my standard deviations, adding and subtracting. I'm going to go ahead and quickly fill in my percentages. I suggest you do likewise. There's 34% there, so there must be 34% there. There's 13.5% in the second one, so there must be 13.5% here. There's 2.35 here, so there must be 2.35 here. And then 0.15 at the very tail end, and 0.15 here at the very tail end. Now it's fully labeled. I can use it to answer my questions. So the probability that a random piece of data, the X piece of data, is less than or equal to the mean minus 2 standard deviations. Well, here's the mean minus 2 standard deviations, and less than would be right here. So that means I need to add this probability, 2.35 and 0.15. I'm going to add those together, and I should get 2.5 as a percentage. Okay, so 2.5 is a percentage. As a probability, I really should take the time and write this as a decimal point. 0.025. 0.025. Okay. I'm going to erase my work over here on my curve so that I can answer the next question. Next question is asking, what's it asking? The probability that a piece of data is greater than the mean plus 2 standard deviations. So the mean plus 2 standard deviations is right here, and if I'm greater than that, I'm over here. So that means I'm going to add this and this. And again, I should get the same thing. 2.35 plus 0.15 is 2.5%. As a probability, you move that decimal back over, and I should get 0.025. Alright, I'm going to clear my normal distribution curve down here, and we are going to answer the next one. What is the probability that the data right here is between the mean minus 2 standard deviations plus a standard deviation? So minus 2 standard deviations is right here, plus a standard deviation is right here, and I'm going to use all this area here between them. So what is the probability that a random piece of data is in this shaded region? So add the probabilities above the shaded regions. 34 and 34, that's 68. 68 plus 13.5. And we should get 81.5. Alright, now we start applying this to some numbers. This is where it starts to make a little more sense. The heights of 3,000 women at a particular college are normally distributed. In other words, it snaps to a normal curve with a mean of 65. Hey, make sure the mean of 65 is in the middle, and a standard deviation of 2.5 inches. That means I'm going to add 2.5, add 2.5, add 2.5 as I go to the right. Then I'm going to subtract 2.5, moving back to the left. So that's the mean minus the standard deviation. Mean minus 2 standard deviations. Then the question says, about how many of these women would be between 62.5 and 67.5 inches? So let's see here. 62.5, that's right here, 1 standard deviation below. 67.5 is right here, 1 standard deviation above. So I need to know what my percentages are. I didn't add those in when I started, so I'm going to add those in. 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. Got that side labeled. Label the other side. It's got to match. That's symmetrical. 34, 13.5, 2.35, 0.15. And now that I see my percentages, 34 plus 34 is 68. So 68% of the women, but that doesn't tell me how many women. So let's see how all this is put together. So what's going to happen here, guys, is 68% of my women, so I'm going to take 0.68, because 68%, times the number of women that I have, 3,000. That should equal about 2040. So 2,040 women should be between the heights of 62.5 and 67.5. That's what I would expect. Okay. Looking at the next question. About what percent of college women have heights below 70 inches? Well, here's 70 inches. And I'll be looking at everything below there. What percentage would that be? Two ways to do this. Add up all of these percentages. I could do that. Or I could add up the ones that weren't used, these two, and subtract from 100. Either way, get 97.5. About how many college women have heights between 60 and 75 inches? Okay, clear my work here. Between 60 and 75 inches. So I'm going to go back to my graph and it said between 60, which is right here, and 65. So 65 was my mean. Now I'm going to go 1 standard deviation below, 2 standard deviations below. So if I want to know what the probability is that I'm between 2 standard deviations below and the mean, I'm going to add up the two probabilities that are above that, 13.5 and 34. And I should get 47.5%, and as a probability that would be 0.475. If I want to know about how many women, I got more work to do. So I take the 0.475 and I multiply that by the number of women I had, which is 3,000 women, and I should get, let's see here, 0.475 times 3,000. Too many zeros. What happens when you're in a hurry? 1425. So 1,425 women fall in the height range between 60 and 65 inches. I would write a little statement putting that all together.